No epi this week, but we always talking about something when we link. So here's something we had in the cut. Now I'm talking about.
Like I said, I started shooting when I have a song called "Never Have Enough Guns," and I mentioned that already. But I talk about how I think the lyrics actually it's literally like a story. So it's I learned to aim straight at age 6. My uncle crushed a can of soda, put it on the fence.
Mm.
I commenced to understand this is a tool, not a weapon. No matter family size, the shoot lies for their protection.
Mm.
Started holding when I had kids. I got a tosser with a few scratches on it, but it's worth because I had a daughter. Apparently, the prep is real hereditary. You'll never even know I have it till it's necessary.
I like it.
That's it. Like that's literally like I just made it rhyme. But that's
Mm-hmm.
I actually wrote out the story of what is my familiarity with guns. All right, I got 30. I have a 35 or 36-year history of shooting them. I hit my first can or like I hit my first target 35 years ago. We used to shoot in my grandfather's yard. Just walk down the bottom of the hill, shoot cans off the fence. Boom. That's it. And I started carrying again when I had my first daughter and I was 20 years old. And I wasn't allowed to have a pistol, but I had one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, I'm 41. I won't name every single gun I've got, but I can go right now. I got my concealed carry. So I can go to the store right now and buy 30, 40, 3,000, whatever, however many pistols I can afford. I can buy as many at one time as I want because I got level 2 security clearance and all that. So like I said, this isn't just willy-nilly go buy a gun, wave it around, put a stick on it or extendo or any of that shit. Especially because a lot of these the extended magazines, these guys don't realize. You see them like waving them around, looking all cute in the video. A lot of them are aftermarket,
Mm.
like or they won't be made specifically to fit your firearm. So unless you've actually used that thing like multiple times, sometimes they get halfway through it and it jams
Wow.
because it's not like or even
I
like this
listen.
gun, it fits in this holster, right? But look, it catches and I've
Mm.
got to wiggle it out. So that means it's not it shouldn't be in there. How am I going to defend myself with this thing?
Mm.
And if you notice, like, so if I grab it like this, like, so I've been practicing, like, how do I grab it with one hand? Getting ready with one hand, because the other hand's going to be like, hey, man, be cool. But like, you see dudes at like practice, they'll be like, at the range, it's like, all right, ready? They'll put their hands like this and then pull it up. And it's like, the fuck, you're going to do that in a real life scenario? Because that's what this is for. Let's not mince words. Guns are to kill people.
Mm.
And I'm not trying to get you flagged or nothing, but like let's be frank. They're not to build houses with. They are tools, but they're not to build houses. They're not to get you from point A to. It's not for transportation.
A
It is
tool
to
of
defend
protection.
your life. Yeah, it's to reach out and touch somebody from a distance, or an animal. But it's to stop a carbon-based life in a phone call. But that's what they're for. They're to stop life. Okay, you train to be efficient with it, and you train to know when it's necessary to use one. Um, it's not necessary to use one because someone disrespected you on the internet. It's not necessary to use one because you got into a fist fight and you lost. It's not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, those aren't. I'm not going to go get it, but I actually have a book. It's a 3-ring binder, and then it's about the use of force literature,
Okay.
like when you're allowed to do what you think you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's got case files and everything. Like discovery on cases where people utilize fatal force.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like even when I talk about it, like it's different words. Like I said, this isn't a chopper, man. This is not a chopper. This is an Armalite rifle. Okay, with an adjustable stock. I've got an internal red dot sight. You can't see it because it doesn't project the red dot because I don't want someone to know it's there. But I can see it. It's got a little target right in there. This thing's a magnifier. So I can even look off to the side if I want, like a telescope.
Mm.
Or I can put it in front of the red dot, and that little red dot gets a lot bigger. This is for stabilization. There. I'm ready to shoot very fast. I put this thing on it so it can register around across it without having to do this.
Mm.
Because most guys are right-handed. So here's the thing, though. I'm ambidextrous. So I also have it on the right side. And I practice just like that with both hands. So never matter. Like, so let's say something happens, I break my left hand. Now I got to defend myself. Oh my God, I don't want this to be the first time I ever held this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this stock is the way. Like I said, this thing is literally built in case I have to defend myself from a group of people or somebody with a bigger, with a decent sized firearm. Same thing.
But it goes back to guns being meant for protection and to defend yourself.
Again, and same thing with this one. That's why this strap is on, so it can be hands free. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. I got a little bit of a scope on this thing, just enough. Don't do it. And the kickback's way lighter, so I can hold it this close, and it's only going to jump like that far. So and then like I said, don't. Hey. So even if I want to be like, so say I want to make sure, I want to keep somebody at bay, I can hold this. My hand's not even on the trigger. They can't say I was threatening them. Finger's still not on the trigger. Hey, but this is a pistol. I fire with one hand all the time. But it shoots it shoots the same rounds as that rifle. So that's like, again, just a quick little, black gun safety tip or whatever. But it's like, my granddaddy, grew up when we weren't allowed to have these, like through that time period. But the only time you're allowed to have something like this is if you were in the military. Imagine going and getting trained to like go kill people you never met, and you come home and people you never met want to kill you.
Yeah.
So that's why I learned how to shoot. That's why I have guns. That's why I got all my people, because there's somebody out there. Chances are, if you're watching this, someone out there would like to hurt you or wants negative things against you. You probably fit a demographic. There's an entire group of people that don't like you. They train every single day to do something bad to you. Even if you're in the hood, or I hate using that phrasing because you know what I mean? It's weird when we say that. But even if you're in the projects or the hood and surrounded by gang culture, there are dudes out there that don't know as much as me, but have bigger guns than me, and will spray up wherever they go, wherever they think they saw an op at. This is why gun control is the way it is in those cities. It's actually like that on purpose. They literally want to make sure that people like me can't defend ourselves, so that all of the gun violence is criminals. And then even if someone like me wants to obtain a gun, it's now I've done it illegally. Like that's all by design. Like, again, back to the whole, there's a machine behind that. Why do you think like these kids in Chicago got bigger guns than you've ever seen in your life? Everybody get extended magazines, and they're not even old enough to buy them. They're not ordering them off Amazon to their house. Where do you think they're getting them from? That's not. They have tactical ARs. I've seen the drill videos. These kids got Mossberg 870 tacticals. You know who uses those? The police. Like I said, this stock, I bought this from a police officer. Consignment from a police officer. This is from a military police officer. This one from a military police officer. I'm not just saying these things. Like I've seen these guns. These kids aren't pulling up with just teeny little guns no more. You know what I mean? Like, go watch a drill video right now. You're seeing them with optics and shit on their guns. What optics? I thought they just sprayed random people. No, those are the kids that are actually buying guns illegally. Is this making sense?
Yeah, definitely.
This kind of stuff just by accident. Like I said, I got all the credentials to have it. So to me, that's why people wonder why I haven't been to certain cities. Like, Derek, why don't you go to DC? Because I can't take none of these to DC. I don't want to. I don't want to go hurt somebody. I grew up, this is just a part of it. No one's ever bothered me. Actually, you know what? I can avoid the statute of limitations. I may or may not have had to discharge before, but it was improper defense of myself. But I've had to discharge before. Like, there's a couple of accounts that's documented, so it's no big deal. So I've had to discharge before. After you have to do that once or twice when you weren't doing anything, or where you actually defend your life, you realize this literally could happen at any given time, no matter what.
Oh, okay.
I don't have these out to be intimidating. I was just shooting before we did this. I went and grabbed the ARP because it was the thing. And I told you I had that background just for the redneck aesthetic because I'm allowed to do this. But the cops came right now, they can't do anything. I'm on my property. Even if somebody was called, I think, unless you have a warrant, you can stay right there. The cops been called several times since I've been out here. See, and that's a privilege that everybody should have everywhere out in the entire country. That's why, like I said, man, like if civilians could arm themselves, then criminals wouldn't have so many guns running amok. It's simple mathematics. The only time the NRA and people like that supported gun control is when they were taking guns from black people. In the 60s, in the 50s and 60s, you know, you could just go get a shotgun, you could just go get a gun, no big deal. All right, the Black Panthers walked around with guns in public because they were allowed to have them. They weren't breaking a law. That's when the NRA supported gun control, was when the Black Panthers armed themselves. All gun control is racist. Like, I ain't even mean to go on like a tangent or whatever, but the fact that guns came up like 3 or 4 times, I'm like, you know, let me say this real quick. Let me just, and then people can go do their own research. I won't get too deep in it. But like, and not to sound arrogant or nothing, like, but I feel like it's obvious I don't just buy guns. Like, I fucking lift weights and train, and like, to me, it's a whole, I want to be in peak condition to do whatever I got to do. So this tool, I'm gonna be in peak condition with it. Just like my hammer, just like my skill saw, just like every other tool that I use, I want to use it to the best of its ability whenever I need to. Don't know when I'm gonna need to, but when it comes time to utilize this thing, if that time comes, I want to be efficient with it.
That makes sense.
I'm already pretty efficient with it. Like I said, man, I'll tell you off camera, but we're having another big shoot at the house in early November. And like I said, these are just a couple of the joints. And that's another reason why I had everything out today, is because I had a bunch of the homies over, and a lot of not as people don't own as many guns as me or haven't had as much experience. So that's a great time to get familiar, like in a comfortable setting. One of my homeboys is basically a gunsmith. So if something jams, anything happens, he fixes it right there. We shoot everything, we field clean it all right there. We like, you know, I set targets up to different ranges and different whatever. Like, we actually practice the scenario. And if you had everybody that did it like that, those scenarios would happen less and less. I know it sounds crazy, or I sound like some weird.
No, it all makes sense. I think a lot of times conversations don't get to go this far. I think that's what it is.
It's not this healthy. Like, but see, you and I though have had numerous conversations. So there's a respect between the two of us. So I think this is like, what I always see when these conversations come up is it's two diametrically opposed people fucking shouting. It's like, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually, so my love for guns, like, this is what actually keeps me from being a full-fledged Democrat on paper. So I'm actually what would be called a conservative Democrat or a progressive Republican. The reason I'd be a progressive Republican is because of my stance on women. I believe that men need to shut the fuck up and keep their hands off, especially because I have 2 daughters and nobody's allowed to touch them, or that's when I show up with these things, right? So my stance on women and weed makes me not Republican. My stance on gun makes me not Democrat. How fucking stupid is that? To me, thinking that everyone has the right to smoke herb, right? Just the same right they have to smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol. And the fact that women need to be left alone, and that all minorities should be able to arm themselves, means I don't belong to any party.
Yeah, that's crazy. Those are basic.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me. So, and the funny thing is, like, again, I'm sure, like, as a screenshot or even as someone that tunes in right now, they just see me comfortably holding this fucking gun, thinking like it's probably weird. But again, if they're not familiar, they wouldn't even notice it's not loaded. I'm not having pointed at myself. There's no way it can hurt me unless I just accidentally took it back and hit me in the face with it. The other one's got a magazine in it, but it's not loaded either.
But like you said, they'll just see the gun and don't want to see where this convo goes, or don't want to do the research to find out how they got here.
And back to the machine, let's be honest, the image has been portrayed perfectly that a black man with a gun is automatically a threat or something dangerous, right?
Or don't know what to do with it.
Or I don't know what I'm doing. So again, I'm just out here with all these fucking random ass, expensive ass highly legal, but modified weapons because I want to scare people. Again, not even to be funny. Like I got this. I don't know if you can see. I got the knuckles here. Like I'd much rather throw hands. Like this is in case like a group shows up or whatever. But I'm even trying to work away from that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, there's no reason. I'm 41, man. There's no reason to be out here fucking knuckling up or drawing on anybody unless they're a bad person. Now, any bad person out there can fucking run my fate or get shot at any given time. If they, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to abduct a kid, you're hurting a woman, you're bothering like a handicapped person or something. Like, I'll beat the fuck out of you every single time because that's what you're supposed to do, right? But I don't need to be looking for scraps. Like, hey, maybe this guy's racist. Let me talk to him for 5 minutes. Oh, he is. You know what I mean? There's enough genuine racists and genuine bullshit out there to, you know, if you're supposed to. My bad. You saw that, right?
That's a bourbon, yeah.
So, like, what happens is, like, I live on like, this, people be turning around sometimes. And, like, the little cul-de-sac that we stay at, or that I live at. And also, like, people have gotten the address wrong. So they'll like walk up here when I'm out here. And this should just be a fucking funny thing for them to walk up on. You know what I mean? And other times, like, I'll go check because I'll be like, yo, how can I help you? Like, if they park in front of the driveway or like they start acting too familiar, then I go check them real quick because I don't know what your intentions are. And again, see, so that's what I'm saying. Like, where I'm used to living isolated or even remotely isolated. I'm like, the fact that these people are over here and I don't know why they're here. This is why I don't do good. Like when people like want me to come to the city, they want me to hang out in big crowds. I'm not used to that. Like I think I'm actually agoraphobic, which is you have a fear of crowds.
Yeah.
I can be in front of the crowd performing, but in a crowd, I'm always like, and then from doing security and tactical training and all those other things, when I walk into a building and I'm like, yo, this building's got a metal detector, that means I'm walking out naked. Nope, not going. Hey, this whole town, you know, I'm not allowed to do something. You know, I'm not interested. I can find it somewhere else. If people are like, you don't come to DC. Tell me one thing in DC besides the architectural specific buildings that's in DC that like I can't utilize and access in Boston, in Alexandria. You want a $200 a plate fucking meal? I guarantee you I can find one of those. You want to sit on a rooftop somewhere, you want to do whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I can, all that's accessible somewhere else. Like there's nothing in DC that, for me, but see that from my personal whatever, you know? And then also, like even Maryland, like you can't conceal carry in Maryland. What the fuck would I be in Maryland for anyway?
Yeah.
Like take me an hour to get to Maryland. To do what? Like nothing against Maryland, but to do what? There's southern states I won't go to because of the laws. Like, again, man, like just to quickly delineate, like you and I, again, you and I have had these conversations privately. Like if people knew what they were allowed to do, they would demand more of those laws and they would demand more access to those laws. And then it also conduct themselves differently. Like mutual combat. A lot of people don't know you can throw hands legally. Assault is when you punch an unwilling participant. You can fight someone who wants to fight. That's not assault. That's two people that want to fight. The reason people get arrested is when they fight in public, and then you get public endangerment, or you could be inciting a riot. Say if you're in a crowd of 1,000 people, two motherfuckers can't square up because then that could be 500 fights. But if you and another guy go behind the building and fight and come back out and don't carry it on, then that's it. That's nothing illegal happened. Imagine if people ran fades like back in like they did used to.
Yeah.
What happened is niggas that can't fight started shooting people.
Facts. Big facts.
We all know that. Like, again, I'm not saying anything anybody doesn't know. I'm just kind of saying it all together. All these different points I've made have been made before. I'm just making them at the same time. And again, like ignorant gun violence by kids that shouldn't even have guns. They're part of the prison pipeline. Like all this stuff, the drill scenes, all of that shit, all this stuff is supposed to happen because they don't want you to be comfortably sitting by the road, enjoying your house on your phone with your guns being normal and black. Like they don't want you to do that. We're animals. We're property. They don't want to, I'm skipping a whole lot of stuff here and I'm being facetious.
No, this is perfect. This is exactly what we talk about on Non-Talm anyway. So
yeah.
This is exactly what it is.
And that's why I used the colors that I actually drew that the thing behind you.
Yeah,
and that's why
definitely,
when the colors, when I saw the colors, I was like, yeah, I was like, those perfect.
Yeah, that's what we talk about. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. I was like, red, black, and green. It's perfect. You know what I'm
Hell
saying?
yeah.
And nice and simple. I didn't go too crazy. It's nice and legible, but that's the point. Again, the accessibility thing by be yourself, but be accessible. That's, you know, I like I said, I'm trying to have a whole bunch of my homies over because all right. So another one of the lines I say in the song, I say, self-preservation is our right as a human. I require all my people in this fight know what they're doing.
Hmm.
If you have to use it, just remember and hold it tight. That's why a well-armed society remains the most polite.
Hmm.
That's just the phrase that they use, like a lot of gun people use, like a well-armed society remains polite.
Hmm.
People never understand what that means. It's like if I know everybody's got a burner on them and could use it, whether they should or not, you know, maybe I'm not going to lay on my horn for that lady that merged. And then think about it. Is it worth dying over? That's really what it's saying. These little stupid ass petty arguments, this little dumb shit, is it really worth dying over? Back to the rules of engagement. What are you willing to do about what you just said? Oh, I made you mad. I did something. And what? So what?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it? Like, what if you encounter that guy in the street? Now you wish you had a gun. Now you wish you learn how to fight. Now you wish you kept your fucking mouth shut. But the world is full of I wish I would have. And thinking everybody might knock you the fuck out changes that. Thinking you might get shot over nothing changes that. And eventually people are normal, just normal. And they actually are polite and nice and they hold the door open. And you don't, and guess what? In a society like that, guess what we don't need? Fucking police.
Right.
Then the police are actually out catching rapists and sex traffickers and real criminals. Once we police, again, man, it's a whole. I'm dropping a whole bunch of stuff because I'm trying to plant a bunch of fucking seeds at once, man. But imagine if we policed ourselves and took care of our own. Because I have a phrase: we take care of our own. I have it tattooed on me and everything. Like we take care of our own. Mm-hmm. If everybody took care of their own, then nobody would be taking advantage of anybody except for the real scumbags, like the real like rapists and murderers. And then we'd all be united against those people because they're bad for the tribe, and it'd be fucking glorious. Like, imagine like you and me realize we have a problem one day, and it's like we just really it's going there. Guess what, man? I'm gonna be at this place. You're gonna be there. We run around the corner, catch a fade real quick. I put you on your pockets. You stand up. You put me on mine. I decide I'm done. You help me up, and we be like, all right, man. I'm sorry about that. Like, assume that we actually addressed what the fucking problem was now, because now we're both tired and beat the fuck up. Mm-hmm. And maybe like you winning the fight now is enough for you to chill. But hey, man, let's talk. Mm-hmm. Come back around the corner. And, hey, two brothers fought, man. It happens in nature all the time. Right. Like cubs fight. That's how they learn how to fight the enemy. They learn each other's. Like I help rear puppies and things like that too. So like one of the things I notice is that when they go hard on each other, they're practicing, but they also know who the better fighter is. They know what their strengths are. They know this one can't fight, but he'll keep getting up. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It ain't about how many fights you had. It's about who you fought.
That's true. That's true.
But I don't know who's. I'm sure somebody said that. Customato or somebody said that, right? One of the fucking legends said that. Tony Atlas. Somebody has said that before, but
sure. Well, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and finish this. Let's go ahead and finish this.
But anyway, yeah. So back, yeah. Let me tie that up though. Get trained. Get your issues. Get your hands. Get your mind right. Get your body right. Like if something does happen, you want to be in your peak condition. You don't want to be winded running around the block. You don't want to realize that you grabbed the wrong ammo with the wrong gun. You don't have a gun when you needed one, or you're in an environment where you should have kept your head on a swivel. Like I said, I'm in comfort of my own space with joints, and I had to make sure that person didn't wish me ill will. Now that they're gone, I'm smiling again, you know, but it's just like, keep your head on your square. You know what I mean? Anyway, I ain't even trying to, like I said, that's like a 20-minute delineation and shit, but.
No, that's good. I'm actually going to put that whole little 20 minutes out by itself. That'll be an episode itself on some, gun education type shit.
If you didn't know, the name's Rhyme Book. Book like a book of rhymes. And I'm trying to write a few verses with the MCs I know. Pull up for the 16 dropping soon.
It ain't hard to find, but it's impulse everywhere. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay. I got shows in like the DMV area. I do all my own booking, so I got a bunch of shows going down. I got music on Bandcamp. all over the place. I'm not on too many streaming sites, so I want to say that because I get almost no bread from that, and I don't even know who the fuck is listening to me. So if you go to Bandcamp and you leave a comment, I can interact with you. It's like quality control and like and all that. Like people can be, I like this song. I like it when you did this. So then I know how to improve. If it's on YouTube, Bandcamp, or whatever, like you can interact with me. I'm not on very much on any of the streaming joints because, like I said, I don't get any bread from those.
Just a reminder, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday though. Now I'm talking about. Now back to the show.
Because let's be honest, Eminem got like, all right, I'm real quick, a great writer, okay, amazing writer, but he got on with content that's not sustainable. Do y'all want to go back and listen to a 30-year-old album where a privileged, because regardless if he want to admit it or not, a privileged white boy is talking about killing his mom and his baby mom and shit? If I did a song talking about killing my ex-wife, niggas would want, that's committable. I could get in trouble and get locked up. No one, everybody like, man, Derek sound bitter. Derek sound like a broad. Something wrong with Derek. But this man made a whole career going, my mom mistreated me. My mom. Instead of appreciating the fact that his dad ran off like a punk and his mom did her best, which who knows what that was.
But at the same time, not to go on a tangent defending Eminem, but at the same time, he did and does what we expect white kids to do. Like the stuff he rapped about is the stuff that we heard about white kids doing. Me myself, I didn't grow up around white kids, so I don't know.
See, I was surrounded by privileged white kids. So to me, that's what he sounded like as a kid that didn't appreciate what he had. No matter how rough things were, he sounded like he didn't appreciate nothing that he had.
But most kids sound like they don't appreciate anything they have. That's kids.
And seeing, I already was working. By the time Eminem came out, I was paying bills. So I'm like, I could complain about my parents, but I'm too big. I got to get dressed for work. Like, go get a job. Like, that's in my mind. I'm like, well, go get a job then. You had to wear shitty clothes. Guess what? I wanted new clothes. You know what I did? I started hustling, like illegal things, and I started I had real jobs. So I had a stream of income that my parents knew existed, but they didn't know how much money I made. I want New Balance. I'd pay somebody money to drive me to the Fair Oaks Mall. So that was the closest mall was down Route 50. It took you 35 minutes to get there. I would pay somebody $50 to take me, wait in the car while I shop and then come back out. And because I wanted it. So in my mind, I was like, I want it. I'm gonna get it. Why are you sitting around crying? And he got over by freestyles. A lot of freestyle competitions he won, they were actually written. So again, like, and let's be honest, if he was black, he wouldn't have got toted so well.
See, that's the trope, or that's the one that I don't really let, like I said, let fly. That's the one I don't really give any credence to if he was black. If he was black, that changes everything. Like, because the stuff he raps about is not something you expect a black. That's why the first thing I said is,
what I'm saying, even if he had different content, okay? So when he came out, that style he was doing, Master Ace and Big L were doing that same style. Like, the Big L had way more controversial, if you're going for shock value bars, he had the like internal rhyme, he had triplets, and he was doing all that. Like, I'm a student of like the actual style that he was utilizing.
No, I give you that. Big L, I give you that. Master Ace. Big L was big. Master Ace was bigger than most.
But if you listen to Disposable Arts, it became the Dipset flow. Like, that's what it morphed into, was like doing doubles but not saying shit. And then Jules Santana got real bad about it, and it was all negative space. But Big L was like it was like less negative space, more words, everything rhymed. And a lot of different dudes did that, and Eminem did it very well. But again, he was getting over by just mentioning dead people, which Chino XL was the king of doing that shit. Chino XL.
I mean, Chino, but at the same time, people got to give Eminem his credit, because all these people.
Look, I'm giving his credit. Look, I'm giving him credit for playing. No. This real quick. This goes back to what I was saying, though. So Eminem was winning these competitions, putting music out. It wasn't getting toted because he didn't have a machine behind him, and he wasn't pushed towards a demographic that was thirsty. So he meets Dre. Next thing you know, he's got $1 billion industry behind him, right? He's the white rapper, so he's working in his favor. If he wasn't talented, none of this would have worked. So I'm not saying he's not talented.
Okay.
Right? So he's talented. So then he gets $1 billion machine bond. Look at niggas like Tiger. They had the same fucking outlet, but they're whack as hell. So they stagnated. Eminem kept growing up because again he's got a. So now you've got Eminem being played on like 94.7 and all these stations that won't play black rap.
But I mean, but so who's the fault? I mean, well, who's the fault of that?
No, there's no fault. No. See, again, I'm not even blaming him. What I'm saying is there's no fault. But only reason I even reference him is because Idea was better than him on every aspect. He just chose to make music that was more true to him and not appeal. Eminem, when Dre and them are in the studio and you've got Jimmy Iovine and $1 billion, you have to make the what worked last time.
But I think that's what separates the word best from favorite. Like, you're going to have some artists that are not going to make singles. Right. Eminem was an artist that's going to make a corny single to get on the radio to make sure more people hear me to find out how nice I am. So Idea is not going to make a single
so
for
this
everybody
is
to hear.
So this is I was going to say the thing that differentiates Snoop and a bunch of those dudes that have longevity. If you listen to their record now, the only thing that changed really was the content. I like artists like Idea because they're doing different stuff. Their style changes, like their style evolves. Eminem is just his content changed. He was already good. Does that make sense? If he had focused on just being better, he would be literally the best. If he didn't spend time just doing content other people wanted to hear. There's a lot of artists like that. Even fucking Parliament, George Clinton. The reason he ended up with like 11 different groups is because the label that was paying for, say, P-Funk All-Stars wanted this style. Well, he's been taking acid for a month. He wants to make Maggot Brain. So then he formed Funkadelic out of the same guys and shopped it to a different label. So he gave the people what they wanted and created what he wanted at the same time. Thus, the entire time his shit's elevating. So eventually, he can't get any better. And then the 80s came and he started smoking crack. But dudes like Prince, like, you could give somebody a single because you know how to appeal to the dynamics of a large group. Then you also cater to the art itself. That's the thing. Only thing I think M didn't do is he didn't make a lot of shit for the art, but then he did later in his career. No, he was all right. So his first few records, as a writer and as a 41-year-old dude, are garbage. It's when it's like the third or fourth record where he started doing like the Cleaning Out My Closet, which is a more normal song than just I Hate My Mom. It's referential to why he doesn't like her. Does that make sense? Because that was the first.
I'm trying not. I'm a big. All right,
the fan. Mushroom song. All right, I'll use it from the first big record.
I mean, because on the first album, yes, he does have a lot of goofy shit stuff. Look, but at the same time, I'm talking about content wise.
But yes, and he's got the mushroom song.
Yes, he does have a lot of blame your mother stuff, but he also has a lot of getting picked on stuff. He also has a lot of regular old. I'm a hip hop dude trying to get on, but I also got a regular old job over here. He has those also.
Hey, but he also had that goofy ass mushroom song. I never meant to give you mushrooms, girl. So
because you have goofy ass white kids who relate to that. You have songs that relate to it.
What I'm saying is, had he not done the I'm a nerdy goofy white kid stuff,
why not though? Why would he not do that if that's him on your first album? That's the song you need to have on there.
All right, but again. Cleaning Out My Closet wouldn't have fit on the first album because it was a normal song.
No, because he wasn't there yet. Cleaning Out My Closet, he wasn't there yet. Like as a person, he wasn't there yet.
But again, that's what I'm saying. So like the growth once he started growing, that's when his fan base changed. As a writer, he's only a couple years older than me. I hated all the first stuff. It wasn't until like 3 records in where I was like, oh, this guy can talk like a normal human being. He's growing up, all that. The last few records, he's gotten more artsy or whatever. He doesn't rely on that shock value shit. I actually have grown to like him.
But I think that's sometimes what an artist does that you appreciate. Like an artist that knows he's nice.
See, and here's the thing though, just so you know, this is the most I ever I don't even like talking about the guy. Like
it's funny because I don't like to defend him too much. I hate to be in the seat where I'm defending him.
Yeah, see, and I don't own any of his stuff. None of it's on any of my playlists. I don't want to hear any of it. I'm
a big M first 3 albums dude. After that, I'm good. Like I don't really like anything after that.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm the opposite. The first 3 I don't.
That's why I'm enjoying this.
So, and all right, and for example, like Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg, I have to be in a particular mood to listen to that.
That's the only
But
album I can listen to by Snoop.
see,
That's it.
I like the last one he did where he does the song about like I fell in love with my wife and my children again. Like that's what I. But again, it's that to me is more like it's all honest,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
but it
But I think a lot of times M get blamed by us for his honesty that we can't, that doesn't really relate to us. You see what I'm saying? Like
he
we're
just
mad
sound
because
whiny, bro. Like I
huh?
said, his stuff sounded super whiny to me.
I mean, most little white kids are whiny. Like that's what they are. From our view, when we see little white kids on TV, like I said, most of my
It
stuff is based on TV because I didn't grow
Here,
up with it. So
give me
most of my
one
stuff is
second, and then we'll go to the next one. Because nothing against Eminem, I do not like. I don't want to
definitely
like.
agree. I definitely can end there right there. I definitely agree with that.
It's funny though that we had like the opposing but similar view because like usually I don't even talk about him that long. Hold up,
That's
I'll be
funny.
right back.
You good, bro? A full-fledged Eminem convo, but neither one of us really wanted to talk about Eminem. That's hilarious. Got 2 bars left. Did he give me his favorite album? Yeah, he gave me his favorite album. Did he give me his favorite album? I can't remember. Why would we go back to Eminem?
You can actually cap it with this, just if, like to put a cap on that to double back. I think dude is talented as fuck. He was also visionary to have written rebuttals out, knowing people would think he was about the white thing. Like he was sharp, man. He was sharp. It's just content that I never got into, right? And then when he switched his content, or like if he writes just like what I would call a quote unquote normal song, right? That's when it really shines, like how fucking good he is. Like even like Rap God, I thought I don't like the playful voices and stuff, right? But when he did the verse with Busta Rhymes, okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's when I was like, it's not even fair. Like it literally, I was like, this is why a lot of dudes don't like him actually, because he's so good. It's not even fair.
It's kind of like it's funny because it's kind of like not to throw him in there. It's kind of like the Drake situation. If you're a fan of Drake rapping, like you wish Drake would give you a full rapping album because you're like, yo, this dude can fucking rap. Just do that. Stop singing all the time. It's
because but then if you were trying to be in that singing genre, if you were trying to be one of those guys, the reason you don't like Drake is because you hear how effortless it sounds. You're like, God damn it, he didn't. I was gonna try and do a merengue song, and Drake did it. That's why people are like, oh, I can do double time, I can do double time, I can do double time. And Eminem goes, oh, we're doing double time, and then he comes and he goes, and he does it right, and then everyone's like, man, Eminem sucks. And it's like, no, that I don't say he sucks. Like that's why you heard my specific thing. I said if he was black without a machine behind him, he would still go down in history, but he'd be in a class. He wouldn't be in an echelon. Is that my?
We do have a lot of artists that because they don't have a machine behind them.
Exactly. See, so now that's why I think, like I said, I knew we're on the same page about this. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to delineate too hard. I believe that Eminem, as a white dude without the machine, would have still made the cut for an echelon, like or for like he still again if he just even struggled in the underground forever, but was that nice? We'd have been touted as a big L, a big pun. He still would be in that class, black, like right, but because of the machine being behind him, he's up there with Black Thought. Does that make sense? Because he's still talented as fuck. If the dude couldn't rap, we still wouldn't know who he was, no matter how they pushed him. He'd be like Jack Harlow or one of these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna fade out super quick. But no, Eminem is super, super talented, and the longevity and his ability to modify his content just proves how talented he is. Really, I think my only complaint is that he didn't come out less shock value. Does that make sense? Because look at what happened with Chino XL. He did all the shock value stuff. He still has a career, but he was on a major label.
He never made a single.
Huh?
He never made a single.
I was gonna say his single "No Complex" was still too complex as a single, and then the Creep song was done so well. A lot of people didn't make it through because he sounded like he was gonna kill, like he's some stalker gonna kill the chick. Like, yeah. and then come to find out he wasn't even he was watching another couple. It's actually like really, those were his two singles, was Creep and No Complex. And I remember they were like
too complex.
No Complex was too complex and Creep was too creepy because he's not right. But because Eminem does also have that entertainer appeal. But again, I don't want
that comes with the machine though. That comes with the machine telling him he has to do this.
Eminem has also acknowledged that him being white and a whiny white kid did help. But that's where we have to acknowledge. But he still had to be talented. Because look at it, ICP, whiny white boys doing goofy trademark, like, right? But they didn't have a machine. They had to create their own machine. And then they became millionaires off the strength. So again, that's why, again, like as a writer, as an artist and all that, child, of history, I see all the different whatevers. You know what I mean? I believe that I could have made popular music with a machine behind me and then done popular as fuck. I had numerous offers, but I literally didn't want, I either wanted to, Calico has Little Lux has a great line to Calico in the battle, and I'll leave y'all with this. Is your lifespan being short, or was it your lifespan being short worth your money being longer? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, all money ain't good money, man. So I got and look at what happened. Even Eminem, he had success blow up out of nowhere. He overtook his life. That man ended up being, with all of that, let's tell you right now, he still considers himself a recovering addict, and he still considers himself depressed on a certain level. With all of that success, he still isn't happy. Yeah. Think about that. Think about that, though. You know what I mean? So, and Idea had a great line for this, and this is my last fucking quote, I think. Success ain't always based on self-esteem. It takes a sense to differentiate between what's yours and someone else's dream.
Wow. That is a bar. That's a bar. That's a
in
bar.
2003. In 2003. That's a fucking quotable.
What's the name of that album again, though?
E&A Day. That's off a song called Now.